Now, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to Russia for his first visit since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Modi's trip will include a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, whom he last met in Russia in 2019. India is a major buyer of Russian arms and has also become a key buyer of Russian oil following Western sanctions placed on Moscow over its actions in Ukraine. While Prime Minister Modi has not condemned Russia, he is under pressure to secure the release of Indians allegedly misled into fighting for Moscow in Ukraine. Reportedly lured they were with the promise of lucrative jobs and education, but they did end up on the front lines.
Ravi Mohan sent this message from the Russia-Ukraine frontline to his brother Ajay back in March.
My eyes well up on hearing this message.
Ravi survived the attack, only to be deployed again to the frontline a week later. Since then, his brother Ajay hasn't heard from him, but he hasn't given up hope.
I have been sending him text messages every day since the 12th of March. I get no response, but I don't want my brother to feel we have forgotten him. Former generations saw poverty, and so did our generation in the family. He went there with the intention of changing the fate of our future generation, so they can live a comfortable life.
This village sent many young men to Russia, but not to join the army. They were duped by local travel agents who promised lucrative jobs. One of the agents has been arrested on charges of fraud and human trafficking.
We gave $13,000 to the travel agent to get Ravi a job in Russia. But when he landed there and called me a few days later, Ravi told me that he was forced into signing a contract to join the Russian army. He was told that either you will have to go to the war or face prison for 10 years. Ravi told me to alert others in the village so that they don't land in a similar situation.
Ravi's family does not want to believe he's dead and have been asking the government to find out his whereabouts. In this village, they're not the only ones in a torturous limbo. This is Sahil Mohan in a video he sent from Russia, appealing to the Indian government to rescue him. He got shrapnel injuries in both his legs on the front line. His mother is distraught. She says she would rather have her son jobless at home than in a death trap far away.
My heart yearns for him. I miss him so much. He asks me to make chili flatbread for him when he returns home. He must be starving there.
6 young men from this village named Mator have gone to Moscow. It's believed that around 100 Indian men have been recruited by the Russian army in the last year. Why did they go? Because they simply could not find jobs at home, and it seems that many, like Sahil, are told that they'd be far from the fighting. Indian government says 2 of its citizens have died in the war and raised the matter with the Russian government ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Moscow. The families back home want Modi to make the safe return of their kin a priority during his visit.
If my voice reaches Mr. Modi, I would ask him to bring back all Indians who are trapped in the Russian army, no matter what condition they are in, injured, alive or dead. We hope they bring them home. Seems like Modi has a good rapport with Putin.
For now, they watch the war from afar, hoping that the fighting will be followed by signs of life.
For more on this, we can talk now to Happymoon Jacob, an expert on India's foreign policy and a professor at Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi. Thanks for being with us. Happymoon, there are lots of issues the leaders of Russia and India have to talk about. How important for India is this issue of bringing soldiers back?
Well, I think in the scheme of things between India and Russia, this is clearly one of the important things that I am sure Mr. Modi will converse with his counterpart in Moscow. But I must say that, however, difficult and an issue this is, and heartrending, the images that I just saw on your program, this has not really dampened the spirit of the bilateral partnership between India and Russia. Having said that, this is a problem that many people are facing, and I'm sure that Mr. Modi will take it up with Mr. Putin. This is widely seen as a scam that has gone out of control. Now something that the Russian authorities will have to take measures, urgent measures to sort of send these men back home. This is not being seen as something that the Russian authorities directly or knowingly lured Indian men into enlisting in the Russian army to fight against the Ukrainians. It's not widely seen that way. But I think I agree with you. This is an important issue, and the government is concerned about it, although this is not on top of the agenda.
Now, this is the first time that Prime Minister Modi has visited Russia since it launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Why has the Prime Minister decided to go now?
Well, I think there are several factors here. One, I think as soon as the war broke out, Mr. Modi was not so sure whether he should engage Mr. Putin in a bilateral summit in 2022. Remember, the last summit was in 2021 December, and Modi was supposed to go to Moscow in 2022, which he did not, because there was a lack of clarity on whether or not India should engage the Russians the way it did before the war took place. Number one. Number two, I think today you are looking at a situation where the reading in India is, rightly or wrongly, that Russia is winning the war. And if Russia is actually winning the war, right or wrong, it would be unwise on the Indian side not to reach out to Mr. Putin. And number three, you are looking at a lot of engagement between China and Russia today, going by the bilateral summits and the other engagement between the two sides. And I think Mr. Modi feels, and the Indian government in general feels, that it would be unwise for the Indian side not to reach out to Russia at a time when China is reaching out to Russia in a big way. And finally, Russia is also in many ways engaging with India's neighbors. If you look at the Russian engagement in Myanmar, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, you're looking at a country that is re-energizing its ties with India's neighbors, something that India has taken notice of. And I think it would be, again, if I may use that word, unwise for the Indian side not to sort of engage the Russians at a time when Russia is expanding its influence in the region. I think there are several factors that have prompted the Indian side to change, may I say, the course of its policy towards Russia now.
Happymoon, thank you very much for talking with us. That was Happymoon Jacob from Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi.
Thank you.